hello once again to Chris's Corner. We've got a sad day here. What you're looking at in front of you are damaged ornaments from this year.
No!
Totally blame myself for all of the repairs that are needed here. Anakin's lost his saber, or part of his saber. He's just got a small, maybe about that much left of it. Not sure how I'm going to fix that one. This one that I've had for years, it originally had an issue where one of the panels here on the TIE Fighter snapped off, and I was able to put a little hole through the shaft part of this side of the TIE Fighter and put a toothpick in it and glued the panel back on with some crazy glue, and it looked good. But now to add insult to injury, the electronics don't work. And I think I'm going to be trying to fix this one first. I've kind of had a look at it, and I think maybe I might be able to pull it apart and take out the electronics and see if I can repair it. And sadly, Kylo Ren lost his saber, the main saber blade. Not my fault. I blame this one on our two furry friends. Our one cat, Belle, she loves to play under the tree, and Kylo was a little too far down on the tree limb, and we found him on the floor when we were taking the ornaments down and putting them away for the year. Kylo had rolled under the couch and was missing his saber. So I do have the saber. It's in the box here, and I'm going to try to repair them. But anyway, that is what is wrong with all three of these. And I'm going to see if I can repair each one of them in turn. So let's get into one of those repairs now. So I know lots of you have been asking, I've had quite a few people inquiring about how to fix the ornaments when they don't work anymore. Your guess is as good as mine, but I'm also not afraid to try to do it myself, as opposed to just going out and buying a new one. At least try, right? Like I said at the beginning of this video, this ornament I've had for years now. I believe this one came out in 2003, so it's almost 20 years old now in another year. It's got some wear, but if you look close enough, I had to do a repair here, and you can still see some of the glue if you look up close. Some of the crazy glue. I had to reattach. I believe the crack is just in here. Not right against here, but it's right here along this seam, if you can see it. I poked through some of the ornament with a very fine drill bit, and I on both sides into this part and into the panel here, and then just put a small toothpick in there to help hold it, and then glued it all together. But in doing that, years later, now it doesn't want to work at all. I get nothing. Now, I have from time to time gotten a little bit of electronics out of it, depending on if I played with the battery compartment, but I'm just tired of doing that. But I think I should be able to pop off the glass. Even it's not glass, but it's the viewport. I'm hoping I can do that. I'll open up the battery compartment here on the back and see if I can get it to a point where I can actually take the electronics right out. But we'll see. I'll set up the camera in a little better angle here and I'll see what I can do. So I've just gone to retrieve some of my small little fiddly tools. First things first, I guess we'll just take off the battery compartment here at the back. Now this is a flathead screwdriver. You can use that or oh, did you hear that? There you go. Well, this video may be shorter than I expected. Look at the gap though. Can you see the gap there under? It's like pretty much off. I know the door here is broken on the one side, but it is working. So something in it is causing, when this is tightened down, I'll do that now. It is all the way tight now. And will it work? Nope. Something is causing it not to work. Oh. Well, that's strange, isn't it? So one of the connectors in here is not connecting. Let's pop out. And I don't know which one it is. I really want to be able to take the whole thing out. And I think for the sake of this video, I am going to try to release some of the glue and pull out the inside electronics. If I can pop the centerpiece out, this entire centerpiece looks like it comes out, including the tabs for where you lock it in. So I'm going to piddle with this for a bit and see what I can do without cutting my fingers or the ornament. So I will be back. I have successfully removed the inside of this. I've already had it out. I've just put it back in here just to be transparent. Put it back in here to show how it comes out. My issue was, and I knew this ahead of time, when I had glued the wing back on, I had drilled a hole through, and unfortunately, the little pieces of paper that I wrapped around the toothpick had come into contact with some of the leads inside. But just so you know what it looks like inside one of your Hallmark ornaments, here is the simplicity of it. There's your inside of the TIE Fighter, and you can see where I've drilled through and put the toothpick. It's inside the Kleenex there. I just used the Kleenex to fill the hole, or tissue, or whatever that is that I used. It's been so many years. But that had extended itself into the mechanics of, or the electronics of the ornament, and I guess it was keeping one of the wires from coming into contact of how it should be. So again, I've already taken this apart. I'll just take it apart slowly here for you again. And it just pops off of the where is it? That's on this side. There it is. I have reattached this part here. I'll use a pokey thing. This part here goes through a slot, and then bends and holds itself to the bottom of the plastic inside here. It doesn't connect to anything. And then this one comes up the side. Oh, here's the cat in the room here to annoy me. You can see here where I was having the issue with the electronics. I had accidentally glued a piece of paper to it, and it was much bigger than this. It actually passed through and was, I don't know if it was interfering with this side or with this, but it was causing it to not so much short out, but just not work. Unfortunately, I don't know if I can dig off any more of the paper here. I just don't want to break any of the wires. But this is the speaker. Red and black speaker wire onto the board. And it actually says on it an S for the speakers, I believe. And there's the button there. And now that I've put it back together here, I'm going to have to clean this up a little bit. It's got some glue on the outside here still. It makes it a little difficult to put together. But if I put this back on, and then this piece here goes over the speaker. I won't do it now. But it goes over the speaker and goes around the outside of this. Kind of holds it together. And then all of that gets slid back down inside here, lining up the button to the button that's now rolling around on the inside there, but goes through the bottom. But as you can see here, now that I've got this tight back down, and the side one, as soon as I touch the battery to the leads, it's going to start. And if I can get it to hold on there. I'll play through 3 times. Or twice. But the button does work now. So I have successfully taken this apart. Hopefully I can successfully put it back together. When I do, I'll come back and show you how I've done. Like I said, I need to clean up some excess glue on the inside. I'll get out my little Dremel to do that. I don't know what or how this would affect the cost of it or the price value of the ornament now that I've taken it apart. And as you can see here, the little exterior gun laser pieces have also disappeared over the years. Like I said, this is an old ornament. If you're willing to just replace an ornament once it breaks, if you've got the cash for it, have at it. Go ahead. But I always like to try to fix things as opposed to just replacing them and have these things go to waste. To me, this hasn't lost any value, but that's my opinion. It's still one of the ornaments that I love. So I'm happy that I was able to get this apart, and I'll be equally happy to put it back together. I'm gonna have to probably just get a piece of plastic from someplace just to put across the top here, because that is the part that is supposed to lock the door in, the rear hatch. So hopefully I can get a little piece of plastic or whatever to put that back together. So once I get this back together, I'll be back and I'll show you how it works. But just another view of the simple interior workings of the 2003, I believe, 2003 TIE Fighter. And for those that were wondering how to take them apart, that's how you do it. I'm assuming that all the ornaments are the same. Once you break the seal, actually I think this is the original factory seal, this part. This part here is the original factory glue. I don't know if you can see that. This part here. And it doesn't go all the way around, which is why I think it's the original. Because the way it lays in here, this is where my boo-boo came into play, is this piece here, which I had to break or dig out with a small little X-Acto knife, and just had to slide it in and break the seal. Once I got the seal broken around the screw port and around the sides, I used a little hook here. We get this for our Cricut machine. I was able to pop it in here and just slowly just work its way up and break whatever glue was still attached, and it popped off. Just be careful you don't break it. These ornaments are delicate, but like I said, if you've got the ability to fix them, go ahead and try before you just waste another. I think this one would have been about another $50 for me to buy a brand new one. And on the tree, you won't be able to tell the difference. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and put this back together. Pretty easy. Put the button back in, like so, and then just slide this in. Make sure it's properly seated. Put the lid back on, and with the battery in it, and it should work. Okay, I just wanted to make a little bit of a update here to my progress. I've taken this apart, put it back together, and found that the circuit board here was also coming into contact with the two leads that are coming off the speaker. So to keep it from shorting out, I just put some electrical tape over top of made it about three layers thick, just cut it to shape and just stuck it down just as an insulator so that the leads from the speaker don't contact the leads for the button. I also glued in a new piece of plastic, you can see here, and that piece of plastic holds the door on like so. And then you screw it down. And what I used to do that was just a piece of plastic from a lid and some Gorilla Glue. And then once I gave it the overnight to solidify, I came back with a little Dremel and cleaned up all the edges and made sure that the slot was big enough for the hook for the lid. And now I'm ready to put it back together. I have tested it with the battery in. Everything works far better than it did. So now I'm just going to put everything back together. And it should just pop in. There is the button inside that needs to make sure that it's seated properly. It's got a little groove that sits in it. If it's not in there properly, you just spin it like so. And then drop in the speaker and the housing. Seated properly in place. Now I may add just a little couple dabs of glue just to keep it in place on each side. I'm not going to put any down in here in the middle because I don't want the glue to get to a point where it's the same issue I had before where it was contacting some of the wires. There we go. All right, so now that I've got that in there correctly, I'm going to go ahead and glue it where it should be. Try not to make a mess of glue. You don't need too much of this glue. Just a dabble do ya. And I certainly don't want to close up the hole on that side, nor do I want to get any on me. That should be more than enough. All right, here we are back again, and it is back together and fully working. I did some doctoring here. I may get some colored marker paint just to cover up the glue mark there, and that was just to repair the latch for the back door, but everything went together. Everything went back in the right spot. I know at the beginning of the video I had said something about taking off the front lens part here. This is not removable. These holes that are in the side, they're the speaker holes. So you should not have an issue if you have this ornament and it needs fixing. Just do it the same way I showed you here. Just loosen the glue and pull it out. The tools that you see in front of you are the only tools that I use to do this. The only power tool I had was a Dremel with a little filing tip on it just to take some of the glue down after I had glued it and to reshape some of the plastic that was left from my previous mistake. But it's all back together. There is still a gap in the door, but that gap was there prior to me even trying to fix it. I tried to close it up a little bit, but at least it's more uniform the whole way around now. And then, of course, it does work. I do hope that you've liked this video and it was helpful for you. I know there was a few people that were asking how to get into the electrical inside to maybe fix lights or whatever, and I would assume it's the same way. I do have 2 other ornaments to fix, non-electrical. As you saw at the beginning of the video, I do have an issue with my Kylo Ren here. Saber broke off. And the same with the Anakin. And I think I'm going to attempt to do the Kylo Ren saber first. If you have any suggestions on how to repair the lightsaber, or if you've done it yourself, please let me know so that I'm not going in blind. But if not, I'll just try to go in blind anyhow. I was even thinking if there was a way to put electronics in it to get the saber to glow. I don't know if I'll go that far. There is the option also of replacing the saber if I can't get it glued. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to glue it. I may drill a little bit of a hole into the hilt and then maybe use a action figure lightsaber, if I can get one that's the same length or longer, and then just slide it into the hilt so it stays. But we'll see how that goes. So again, please like and subscribe, and I do hope that you have a very good day.